think about boys and just assume they're going to be okay because they've been running the world and, you know, they've got all the advantages relative to the girls, and all of which has historically been true in all kinds of ways. But precisely because of that, if you're not thinking about what's happening to boys and how are they being raised, then that can actually hurt women. And I would argue that some of the broad political trends we've seen, not just in this country, but around the world, have to do with this sense of, you know, boys, men not feeling as if they are seen, feeling as if they count. Mm-hmm. And that then makes them more interested in appeals by folks who say, you know what, the reason you don't feel respected is because women have been doing this, or this group has been doing this, or that group's been doing this. And that is not that's not a healthy place to be. And I will say, as quote unquote progressives, Democrats, progressive parents, enlightened ones, we've made that mistake sometimes in terms of our rhetoric, where it's like we're constantly talking about it, you know, what's wrong with the boys mm-hmm. instead of what's right with them. Mm. We rightly have tried to invest in girls to make sure that there's a level playing field, and then they're not barred from opportunities. But we haven't been as willing, I think, to be intentional about investing in the boys, and that's been a mistake. And I think people are starting to recognize that. So going back to your optimism, I think there's a healthier conversation taking place now, both among this new generation of young women and men, but also among the public at large that's starting to see like, hey, you know, we got to do better by our boys. And if we do better by our boys and we're producing stronger, more confident men, that's going to be good for our girls and our.
Awesome. All right. Anybody have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think
cognitive decline? Because I'm just wondering.
No. But
I mean, I think it's pretty right.
Yeah.
And I was just thinking about, I mean, I don't know why I'm laughing, but is that why men wants to be women now? So they feel more like...
You took it way far. Way. I don't disagree with you, but you took it way there. Yeah. Is that why women want to be women? Okay. Anybody else have any thoughts when it comes to this? You have one?
Yeah, I just feel like, you know, there's fathers out there, they don't have the best example for boys. Boys grow up with a low self-esteem. And then in also different situations where they feel like women owe them, like, you know, a relationship or owe them. And that's where these, honestly, I'm big on documentaries. So, a lot of these documentaries and these killers, it's because they're being rejected by women, you know, like there is just like this whole thing of like.
Well, it tends to be a problem they have with their mother generally, and those with the ones you're talking about.
Yeah. And then social skills and like, and then just like craziness where they just feel like
I think,
girls owe it to them.
I think what President Obama is saying has more to do with the fact that like we haven't really thought about the fact that boys could suffer or fall behind. Like it wasn't we were disagreeing with the argument. We just weren't even having the discussion before. Does that make sense?
Yes, but they're only seeing a problem now.
Yes,
because it is women.
We're gonna get to that.
They only care how it works. They only care about the well-being of guys and men and boys insofar as it's affecting women. It's all within the context of this gynocentric, this singular focus on, well, we need better boys. Why? Because we need better boys to be better boys for women. That's why.
Especially in nowadays, because women are like boss women.
Go ahead.
Well, it's just the landscape's like changed exponentially. We used to have male role models. We used to have like male teachers. That's declined, right?
Yes.
That doesn't exist anymore. But like, I totally
men are inappropriate.
What do you mean men are inappropriate?
Oh, I've had like probably
like there's inappropriate women, there's
five-
inappropriate people.
I've had probably
100%.
5 of like my teachers through all of my grade school who are now. Like,
I would say that's a teacher's problem, and you've talked
Okay,
about
so-
that actually.
We can
Okay,
talk.
all right,
about
so-
it
so here's the
a long
thing.
time
Female
about
teacher.
that.
You guys are all right. You guys are all correct, but you're having the discussion on the level that he's having the discussion on instead of asking the real question, which is how the did this finally get to him? Do you understand? This is what he's saying is what we've been saying for 17 years. And it's been so hard for people to listen to. And finally, they can't deny it anymore. They see 68, it's unignorable. 68% of college graduates are female, which is great. I understand that's what Title IX wanted to do. But we got to the point where now these women who have college educations have no men that they want to date. And they're like looking for who to blame. It must be because men have fallen short. It's
and
like, no.
emotional intelligence.
I mean, but emotional intelligence is not.
We've had 12 new
hypergamy
wave.
is not about emotional
We've had
intelligence.
12 new wave feminist movements in the last like 15 years, right? What has there been for men? So of course, men have like, yeah, we've had trans movements.
Again,
Look at the whole
you're still
spectrum.
having the conversation instead of asking the question.
Why is
how
he
does
just
the
noticing
how does
this?
the man
Yeah.
how does the no how does the man who literally wanted us canceled now agreeing with us? That's what I'm trying to bring up. The man who literally did him and Biden, who did everything they could to try to censor us. The DHS literally put him on a watch list. The DHS spent $700,000 taking traffic from our content to push it to that moron that Justin Baldoni. They did that. Okay? Allegedly. Don't come after me, Justin. Right? I think your movies suck, but whatever. Not as bad as your podcast. No, but my point is, the point I'm trying to make is the point is not the argument is valid. Of course the argument's valid. Of course it's valid. You have men taking men over the age of 40 or divorced taking their lives 9 times at the rate of the general population. Men are more likely to suffer from mental illness, be homeless, lose their job, like all kinds of things. There's all the terrible repercussions. Because if there is a patriarchy, the heel of patriarchy is always on the necks of poor men. It's not on the necks of women. I'm sorry. If there is a patriarchy and at the top is these successful men, the bottom of the patriarchy is always low status men. That is always the way it's been. And it's been that way in every single culture throughout history. And so now finally, we've gotten to the point where Richard Reeves and Scott Galloway and Barack Obama, they can't ignore it anymore. Now, instead of sitting there, they're acting like we just kind of realized maybe boys are suffering too. Really? Because we realized that 15 years ago. We figured it out. So the question I have to ask is not whether or not what he's saying is correct. It is correct. The question I'm asking is, how is this man who is like simply tried to cancel my entire side of the aisle now agreeing with me? How bad have things gotten if now they're agreeing with what we're saying in this whole situation? And we have more clips of Scott Galloway. Again, these guys are liberals. He's at the City College of New York. He's these guys are hardcore liberals, and they're agreeing with us now.
Richard Reeves.
Because you can't keep disagreeing with this whole situation. And it's not, listen, I don't want to say, because the word delusional, I know it pisses a lot of people off. We got into a point where this is basically how the world works now. Okay, there are these factors that are bringing women up, and the main one is higher education and higher earning potential. Okay, and that's everything from college qualified jobs that you get to OnlyFans, and it's bringing women up. The average income for women is rising, and if you count non-child care, so women who don't take care of children, it's actually they're on par with men now. There is no pay wage gap if you don't have a kid. The pay wage gap is a child care gap. That Professor Richard Reeves proved that. Okay, so these are the forces bringing women up, and then here are the forces bringing men down: sedation, pornography, right? A lack of virtual, everything becomes virtual. A lack of in real life skills, video games,
weed.
So these things, these sedations are pulling men down, and while these socioeconomic realities are driving women up, and women, because of hypergamy, only date across and up. There's no men for them to date. And what has happened instead is we have the lowest marriage and birth rate in recorded history. And everyone's like trying to find some other reason why this is happening. There is one reason why it's happening, and it's very plain and obvious. It just took them 20 years to finally get here. That's the point. That's the reason why I wanted to bring the whole thing up. Anyway, anybody else?
I don't know. I feel like there's just such a balance. I feel like if the woman doesn't want to work, and the man wants to be the, patriarch of the whole thing, wonderful. That's great. I feel like men should be able to accept a woman that is higher up I really do.
It's not about that. The women that are higher up aren't accepting the men. It's Rihanna. It's Rihanna.
But they can.
It's Rihanna. No. It's Rihanna worth $200 million dating a billionaire. No. There's these Scandinavian countries. They have women. They have the even earning potential for men and women. And women in those countries, even though they make more money than men in some of them, they want men who make even more money than them.
The bar.
Well,
yes, so the bar keeps going higher.
That's not realistic.
Again, you just said it's not realistic. Yeah. Of course, that's why we have at the lowest marriage rate.
But like in general, like I feel like it's a dance. Like if a woman makes more money, that should be perfectly fine. If the man makes,
there's no guy here who's like, if a woman makes more money, we're not going to get horny for her. No one is making that argument. No. What we're saying is that when the women makes more money, they're not like of the top 3 precipitators of divorce in the United States. You know what one of them is? When the man makes less money than the woman. That's when divorce.
That's on the man.
Huh?
That's on the man.
It's not on the man. It's on the woman. You said till death do us part. It's a marriage. It's not. It said till death do us part in sickness and in health, and whether richer or poor. It says that in the vows.
It should be comfortable enough. So what?
But hold on. He's not gonna divorce her if she loses her. Yeah. He's not gonna leave her if she loses her job.
No, it's both parties. Like she should be giving him what he needs. Like. If he's making more money, great. If she's making more money,
but that's not about that.
What is
it's not about the need.
The average guy in the United States makes how much a year? What do you think?
I have no clue, but my man makes enough for me.
How much for you to date a guy? How much hypothetically? We're not talking about your current relationship. How much would a guy have to make? Can you get closer to the microphone, please?
I mean, a lot.
Like
I can't say.
Do you understand how you're like making your own argument against your own point?
The prosecution rests.
The prosecution rests, Your Honor. Like, okay, ready? Okay.
I don't make the most money. I don't make any money.
The average guy makes $59,000 a year.
That's terrible.
Oh, is it terrible? So what happened to that?
So mean.
You guys understand? You guys see my point? It's like you're saying that they're terrible. They're still men. Do you understand what you do?
That's my expectation.
Well, but do you understand what? No, that's every woman's expectation. Go on Tinder. That's everyone.
Me.
Do you understand? Hold on. Can you conceive, Anna? Can you conceive of what happens if you leave the bottom third of men behind? Can you conceive of what happens to society? Because that's where we're going.
Yes, I've been in. It's different with you. Okay, so like I was in all my 20s, I dated men where I was the moneymaker. I made all the money. I did all of it. I wanted to have babies. I wanted to start a marriage. It wasn't until all these abusive relationships that now I am where I am now, and now I want to have fun. Now I don't want to have a family right now. Like I want to do, like I finally found myself.
Can I ask you a question? Obviously, whatever abuse happened to you, you didn't deserve, and that shouldn't have happened. But could you possibly see a pattern how you've gotten into multiple abusive relationships and how it may have been something that like an attraction wiring in your mind that was wrong?
Of course.
So you would take accountability for the fact that you would pick men who were abusive.
Of course.
Do you understand? Okay.
Yeah.
Do you understand that most men aren't abusive? Do you understand that I could find right now? Do you understand that most men aren't abusive?
I think both are, girls and men.
Do you understand that most men aren't abusive? Most men do not hit women. Most men do not verbally abuse women. No, they don't.
No,
okay, go. I thought you were shaking your head no, I think they do.
I'm agreeing with you, but I'm listening to you.
Right. But my point is that so if the top 10% of wage earners in this country make $134,000 a year, and none of you would ever dream of dating a guy who only made $134,000 a year, and that puts you in the top 10%. And then the women who say they want a guy who's 6 feet tall, and only 17% of the U.S. population is 6 feet tall. And now you're saying, well, I want a guy who's 6 feet tall and makes $100,000 a year. That's 2.2% of men. And if you got one of them, you're like, hey, man, that's awesome. That's great. I got that. But then you just realize you're leaving this math. You understand? 17% of women say that they're interested in a man who's 5'9" or shorter. Do you understand what you do to the population when that happens? This wasn't an issue before because you didn't have social media, because you didn't have power forwards and center fielders in your DMs. You didn't have Tyga inviting you to a video shoot in Los Angeles. By the way, who here's had Tyga in their DMs?
Like
raise your hand. Hold on. Raise your hand if Tyga has slid into your DMs. Don't lie. You said both of you, Tyga? Okay, cool. Yeah. For a video shoot. Yeah. So that's what happens. And a lot of times women will get stuck on their highest setting. And so because they went on a date with a guy who was high status, every guy that they go out with afterwards has to match up to that. And it gets to a point where it's not realistic. And women are like, I'm not going to change my standards. That's fine, but your standards are artificially inflated.
Yeah.
Like giving a guy steroids and his muscles getting bigger, your standards for what you think you can get have been inflated by what you see on social media. Go ahead, Dallas.
I would love, I think overall, making generalizations, right? You're asking the average this, the average that. Every single one of us have different experiences. We have different social circles. We make different amounts of money. We hang around people that make different amounts of money. So when we think of an average, we're going to be thinking of an average of people that we associate with.
Yeah.
When you said 59,000, honestly, I thought it was lower. I thought that it was probably about $45,000, right? Just because thinking about it, that may not be the people I hang out, but I know that the economy right now, everything going on, we have to keep in mind, just because you party with millionaires or bottle service is normal, that could be someone's entire income that is being spent on bottle service.
Right.
And so the expectations,
or you could date men who spend that much money on bottle service, and they could gaslight you into thinking that they're going to be monogamous with you.
100%.
Has that ever happened to anybody here? You guys ever had any friends that that's happened to? Oh, I see some hands raising.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. It's what happens is, instead of dealing with the reality of who you are and who you can get, I'm going to say this, and if it offends you, I'm sorry, but I'm going to say it again. I say this every episode. As a man, I can define my sexual market value by the attractiveness of the women who will have sex with me. As a woman, you can define your sexual market value by the status of the men who will commit to you. They are two different things.
Yeah.
And what's happened, unfortunately, is that because women want to take on the attributes of men, they think that their sexual market value is derived by the men they can have sex with.
Mm-hmm.
Drake would probably all of you. I'm not trying to be an ass. Drake probably would have sex with all of you. Drake doesn't seem to be super picky. His baby's mom was like, man.
I'm sorry.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. No. I'm sorry. You guys are all really attractive. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. You're right, Sonia.
That's the cool.
You're right, Sonia. I apologize. Of course, he'd be lucky to have sex with all of you. My point is, because of that, now you're stuck at Drake for the rest of your life. Do you see the problem?
That's the benchmark.
I feel like I'm a different. I literally had.
We can all feel like we're different.
Okay,
I
Yes.
feel like I've had all of this and this and this.
I'm different
And now
We're all
I
different.
don't have these expectations. I don't need a 6-foot man. I literally just, and it's not even commitment either. Of course I like that, but before I was with my man, I literally wanted to just I was so tired of being in these abusive relationships that I wanted to use these men to the max. I was like, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this, I'm going to take this. And it wasn't until an emotional, intelligent man he was able to we came to a balance of okay, I do want money. I do want, some type of I want communication. I want a lot of different things, but it wasn't a 6-foot, you have to look, oh my God, this. It's just there's a balance, and that's where things happen. I did,
Mhm.
yeah,